Hi there. Hello, everybody. Jean Lewis, Paws Beyond Bounds. Do you like the name? Because that's what it is, Paws Beyond Bounds. Nothing stops them. Wheelie dogs. Right, not going to garble on. What we're going to do today, we're going to have 3 episodes of around 10 to 15 minutes so we don't bore you to death. Got a lovely co-host, Jane from Cornwall, Caramel's Wheelie Mama. I'm Jean Lewis, you know that already. And we're going to cover information, fun days out, and general health care of particularly wheelie dogs, all dogs, but particularly wheelie dogs. I'm going to pass you over to Jane now, who's ready, able, and willing to get into it. And we're going to start with chiropractic of pets. Some people don't think that there's chiropractors for pets, but there is. Do a great job. Put you over to Jane, and she's going to tell you all about her experience with the chiropractor when she took Caramel. Over to you, Jane.
Thanks, Jean. Well, Jean has got loads more experience in the general field of wheelie dogs, but I'm very, very interested in making sure every dog that I have, they've all been rescue dogs, not necessarily on wheels, I'm always take them to the chiropractor to get them checked out, because dogs don't show pain very often. And a lot of them can be really in quite bad shape, but they don't show it because, of course, if you show pain as an animal, then you're shown to be weak. And in the wild, that would be the end of you.
Yeah.
So the difference between an osteopath and a chiropractor is that while the osteopath will look at all the bones in the body, the chiropractor is primarily interested in the spine. And as you know, the spine is the channel which takes all the nerves running from the tail of the dog right up into the brain. And so it's the main channel. And if something is wrong in the spine, it can have lots and lots of different effects. Not just that the dog is limping or whatever, but it can have effects on glands elsewhere in the body. So when I get a new rescue dog, I generally take them to the chiropractor first off. And I've never had an experience like I've had with Caramel with my other dogs, because there was no reason to think that there was anything wrong with them. And in fact, they were all absolutely fine. But of course, Caramel's background is that she was a street dog in Bali and was hit by a car, and her spine was actually broken. So it would be very, very surprising if there wasn't anything wrong with her spine. So I've had her for a few months, but I decided it was time that we went to the doggy chiropractor. And there's an amazing one not very far in Cornwall from us, called Gilbert's Combe. And it's quite funny, really, because there are 2 entrances, one for humans and one for dogs. The dog one, unfortunately, had lots of steps, but because Caramel's on wheels, they've said that I can go up the human one, which was more accessible. And a lovely chiropractor called Teresa Glasson was the person who I saw and I've seen with my other dogs. And she's very she works with horses as well, of course, but very dog orientated because she's already got a rescue dog from Greece. So we took Caramel in, and I didn't know what she was going to find. And so she ran her hands all down the spine and did some examinations. And suddenly, Caramel almost bit her. And we knew that and that, of course, she is ready for this. We realized that she'd found a displacement and had put it back into shape again. She also gave me advice, and that advice was that I should rub her shoulders, because obviously walking on 2 legs, the shoulders get very knotted and they get very tired. So it was really good that I should massage them every day. I mean, it's not rocket science. And she was able to tell me it was particularly on the right side, which was also very helpful. So we left the chiropractors and went home, and I thought, oh, well, you know, we've just had a treatment. But amazingly, the next day, it was just as though somebody had injected WD-40 into her. She was running so smoothly, and running, not just walking. And the difference was enormous. So obviously this, whatever it was, and it was right at the top of the spine, because when she had her spine broken, they actually had to fix it up with wire, wired it back together again. It was at the top of the spine, surprisingly. And in the next episode, I should be telling you about something quite remarkable that Caramel did yesterday. And I'm sure she would not have been able to do it had we not been to the chiropractor. And Caramel had not showed any signs of this problem at all. So it just vindicated the fact that you can't always know what's going on with your dogs. I was very interested. There was a vet in Australia who's done a lot of work on this. And he said, if you put your hand on the dog's head and then run your hand very slowly down the dog's spine, if you can't get to a chiropractor, you will find that if there's any tenderness, if you go really slowly, the dog will, if you observe them very closely, the dog will actually flinch or move in a certain way, which will give you an idea that there is a problem. And sometimes you can get over it but with massage. So I'm really very aware that dogs don't show pain, and therefore, you know, just because they're not limping or yelping, it doesn't mean to say that they haven't got some degree of pain. Would you agree with that, Jean?
I would. Right. Absolutely. I'm sitting here listening to you, Jane, and, you know, I'm sort of, I mean, obviously I know you and what I was going to talk about, but even though I knew, I'm like sitting there starstruck. So much information coming out there. I mean, really valuable information. I'm struck. I am, and I've listened to every word you've said, even though you've actually gone over it a little bit with me. So I'm so glad that you're on here, because you take everything in, like with the chiropractor and what you just said about, like, you can test, you know, yourself just a little bit. But yeah, I'm like, what a lot of valuable information for any dog, anybody who's got a dog, but particularly. Come on.
No, I was just going to say, when I started out with the wheels and I started talking to you about it, I was just amazed at all the information you had that you could give, and was so valuable. And I'd have never got her onto wheels. In fact, I've met somebody yesterday who'd got a tripause who may need to go onto wheels. And it was just amazing to be able to say, well, I'm going to send you an email and tell you all about Jean Lewis, and I will give you the information that I've learned. And, you know, it's just passing this information on, isn't it?
That's what it's all about. I mean, what you just said, that's it. What you just said about massaging a wheelie dog's shoulders, even though they're sitting in a little sling, they've still got that pressure, like you said, on their front legs. And I mean, you know, I never really thought about that so much. I know that the pressure's on the legs. Didn't think for a minute to massage Skylar's shoulders. So you've just taught me something that you've learned from someone else, and this is what it's all about. This is what we need to do.
Absolutely.
Just, share everything. The smallest thing, the biggest thing, and just share it all around, because it's going to make the lives of particularly dogs with disabilities so much better. And some of them are so simple. I'll just, do you know,
I mean,
that cream. Go on.
while I'm sitting here with Caramel sitting next to me, I can be just massaging her shoulders. You don't have to have a special massage session or take any more time. It's just when you're sitting with your dog.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be doing it in a minute. So you just clued me up on something. Fantastic. I love that. I mean, everything you've just talked about is what I call really valuable, because particularly you don't always know if a dog's got pain. And what I mean, I will do it now. I will do it. What you've just done. We did get in touch with a chiropractor once. Maybe there's more on the ground down there, because they're pretty hard to get hold of. Animal chiropractors up this end, but we did find one once given to us by the human chiropractor service in Sutton. So I've got to get back to her and get this lady's number again, because I'll bet you any money that, because Skylar had injuries parallel sort of to Caramel's, so it's a good idea for us to, after the holidays, we're going to get the number again and get her booked in, you know, after what you've just said, that they found something and now she's whizzing along like a rocket, you know. It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, right, Jane, we're going to have a break. We've got, we've done the episode 1. So all you viewers, we're just going to have a little break. When we come back, we hope you enjoyed that. I did. And when we come back, we're going to have a fun time. We're going to have a chat about where Jane went. Was it yesterday, Jane?
Yes.
Yeah. To the dog races with Caramel. A fun day out. Won't say any more. I'm going to leave her to tell you that, because obviously I wasn't there. She has told me that Caramel become the star, which is fantastic. My favourite word, by the way. Remember that. Fantastic. Yes. So we're going to go off. We'll bring you back in, say, 10 minutes and get into the next episode of Paws Without Bounds. So we'll see you soon. See you in a bit, Jane.
Bye.
See you in a bit.